I'm David Volk for Chin Music. Today's post, Project 2025 believes in self-improvement, but only if it helps you kill people. I have no doubt that our great military could always use some improvement. Equipment gets old and needs replaced. The new equipment is high-tech and difficult to understand, and there may not be enough bodies to go around to fill every vacancy in every branch of the military. To hear Project 2025 tell it, though, we're all going to die if we don't fix the problem by throwing money at it. Lots and lots of money. Strange, isn't it? They aren't real big on spending money on things like Social Security or military retirement benefits, but when it comes to spending money on killing people they don't like, they're all in. Here are some of the highlights of its Department of Defense self-improvement project. 1. First, some hate. Before 2025 can even talk about defense improvements, it has to point out that one of the military's biggest problems is that it's fallen victim to a woke, egalitarian, liberal, socialist, leftist, Marxist. Why are they so anti-Groucho, Chico, and Harpo? Anyways, but let's repeat that. Fallen victim to a woke, egalitarian, liberal, socialist, leftist, Marxist binge that's going to kill us all if we don't defund it right now. I guess their thought is, if you're not the right type of person, you probably shouldn't be killing the people we hate. Okay, now that we've said that, we can move right along to the rest of the improvement project. 2. In the Navy. 2025 wants to expand the force by spending money on building lots of new ships, reestablish an old governing board, presumably so they can spend more money more quickly, accelerate purchase of new munitions, and improve fighter development, as long as they are the right type of people, of course. 3. Fixed AF. No, it's not an obscene reference. It's a reference to the Air Force. And how do we fix what ails it? More money, of course. In this case, the way it's funded should be changed so it can get more. That means a 5% annual increase in spending, buying more F-35As, building more B-21s, among other things. They also want to change defense strategy and on, but they don't want leftist, Marxist, transsexuals operating it because they might what? I'm not sure. 4, beef up the Marines. Heritage says operations resulting from the September 11th terrorist attacks and the war in Afghanistan mean this branch hasn't been able to focus on its amphibious-based missions, causing it to lose sight of what it's supposed to be doing. So they want to restructure this branch through Force Design 2020. This appears to be the only branch not completely focused on spending more. Instead, it will be getting rid of stuff like law enforcement in favor of buying more rocket artillery batteries, increasing the number of light armored vehicle companies, upping manned aerial systems, long-range missiles, and anti-ship missiles. Because I guess the people who have those things can create whole new laws unto themselves. It's not all about money, though. They also want more senior Marines in leadership positions. I could go on, but it's just making me drowsy. 5. Conservatives in space. It doesn't have the same impact as Jews in space, but it's still pretty amusing. In the case of U.S. Space Force, home of trainees will probably be called Space Cadets. The focus isn't as much on money as it is on changing its posture from deterrence under Biden to its offensive capabilities under Trump. And if anyone would know how to be offensive, it's Dementia J himself. In keeping with his me outlook, 2025 says there should be arms control and agreements on rules of the road in space only when they are in the interest of the U.S. and its allies. 5. Going cyber commando. There's a whole lot of blather in this section about shifting the way U.S. Cyber Command works. I've got to be honest, I've been reading about what this branch of the military does, and I still don't understand it. I'm guessing it's got to do with protecting the U.S. from cyber terror and bad actors attacking our critical infrastructure over the interwebs. One thing in this section did stick out like a sore thumb, though, and that was 2025's call to, quote, end cybercom's participation in federal efforts to fortify U.S. elections. I'm going to repeat that because I may have read it too fast the first time. 2025's call to end cybercom's participation in federal efforts to fortify U.S. elections. The Heritage Foundation said it's a good idea because it would eliminate the perception that DoD, the Department of Defense, is engaging in partisan politics. Once I saw that, I had to ask myself, and why do you think that would be? Isn't election security a bipartisan issue? And if it isn't, I wonder which party might oppose such efforts. I don't want to name any names or cast any aspersions, but I'm willing to guess it's the party whose name begins with R and ends with Republican. But what do I know? Don't get me wrong, I do think the military is a worthwhile investment, and I support spending money when it is needed. I just find it interesting that Project 2025 is so interested in shuffling millions upon millions at the military when it isn't willing to spend a smaller amount on programs like Social Security and Medicare. I mean, it's not like Heritage is the think tank that gets the most money from defense contractors. No, that honor goes to the Rand Corporation, which received $1.2 billion from defense contractors in 2019. Heritage is a mere piker, coming in at 8th with a mere $1.3 million in funding over the same period. But I'm sure that's just a coincidence. And the saga continues. I've been David Volk for Chin Music.